Today we're speedrunning Swords and Sandals 2, a game that very much destroyed my sanity, and that's because I have about 20 hours of me losing this run over and over again until we finally got a good one. Here's how we did it. We'll start by creating our character and giving him 7 agility and 4 attack before we go into the prologue and have our first fight against this fearful prisoner. All we need to do here is move forward and then charge, giving us an easy victory along with 2,500 gold and 4 upgrade points that we'll put into our agility. Then once we spawn into the town, right away we'll go to the magic shop and give our weapon fire powers before it's time for our next fight. And here's where around 90% of your runs go to die, since these fights aren't to the death and instead end once you land a hit to your opponent's health. We can't buy any armor yet, so just a single hit that we don't block will make us lose, and that'll be a reset, since losing a fight also loses some of your money, and we need to keep all of it to buy a certain weapon. But a good thing is, for these fights, we can check what armor our opponent has before them, and if they have more than 12, usually I'll just decline that fight and go for another guy, and after that, we just gotta get lucky. This is also why we gave our weapon fire powers, by the way, since anytime that activates, it skips their turn, giving us an even better chance at winning. Finally, after we beat enough enemies to become level 4, we should have 15 agility and 8 attack. Agility makes your character move farther, and we need it to buy better weapons, and attack increases your chance of your attacks hitting. With 15 agility, we're just barely able to buy a bow from the weapon shop and make our way over to the first tournament. And of course, this is also a huge reset point. What we want to do for each battle is switch to our bow immediately and then spam arrow attacks. But we only have 5 arrows, our enemies can sometimes block them, and the arrows can do anywhere from 10 to 60 damage. So some enemies will be really easy and some completely destroy us. For this run, I thought for sure we would lose to the second person in the tournament, since we only had them down to 41 health with our arrows, but then we got incredibly lucky with our knife attacks slowly whittling him down and got the win. This fight was way too close for comfort though. And then the final fight for this tournament is John the Butcher, and we just need to pray for high damage rolls. It's almost always a certain loss if you don't beat John with your arrows, and this is another place where so many of my runs have died, but sometimes you just gotta hope that things will go well, and that's what they did. You see we got 45 there, then we got 44, we defeated John the Butcher, which is our very first tournament champion, but we still got a lot more to defeat. Still though, we can then go ahead and increase our attack a little bit along with our agility before it's time to do more duels. Now the reason we have to do these duels is for a couple reasons. It gives us money, it gives us experience points, and also you need to reach a certain level before you do each tournament. So no matter what, we can't skip these things, we just have to keep doing the duels. Now sometimes we will lose them, like for this one, which is unfortunate, but even the world record speedrun lost 8 of their fights, so it's really not the worst thing in the world. And now that money isn't as much of an issue, we have a lot more things that we can work with. Now after this second level up, we'll upgrade our agility even more and just keep doing these fights, getting more gold and getting more experience. And some of these guys are scary. You see this man just keep inching forward towards me. We can hit him with one of those arrow shots, and yeah, I just love having the bow so much more. It just makes me actually able to play the game, which is nice. But this should be our last guy. He has hair and we don't, so obviously we're very angry at him. That's what he gets for having hair. And we're going to increase our agility up to level 24 and our magic up to number 2. Now with this agility, we can buy this better bow, along with buying a better sword. Now normally the one we would want to get is this long sword, but because we lost a duel, we don't have enough money. Still though, this sword should work just fine. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Before we'll also just get a little bit of armor, we'll go with this peasant helmet, and it's time to go into our next tournament. Which this one, we still only have 5 arrows, and like this guy, he has a ton of health, which is a little bit scary. He's also going to start taking out his long range weapon, which isn't the best for us, but we should be able to get a little bit more, and yeah, now this is a very scary fight. We were with our bow able to get him down to 90 health, but he's using his as well. We'll start charging towards him, and this is why it also is important to get a better sword too. We can hit him with a couple quick attacks, take out his leg, and that's one person in the tournament done. But yeah, like in the past, our main source of damage is just going to be these arrows. They're so good, and now since we have a better bow, they're going to do even more damage. Like sometimes they can do even 100, so we're able to take out most of their damage before we switch over to the sword, just hit them with some charges and stuff, then we'll do a normal attack, get him done. Now as we get further in these tournaments as well, there are going to be more fights we have to do. We're going to see that this person is going to switch to their bow, and since they have so much more health than me, I'm going to go for my sword. That way they also switch back to their sword and they won't just be able to whittle down at me, because that would be bad, but we very much almost died there. That was way too close. Still though, it is time for the evil ninja, which this guy is very hard. Now I made a mistake at the start by switching over to my ranged weapon when the evil ninja was already using his. So we're going to go for the sword. That way we can go and try to hit him in close range, but he is just spamming. I mean, to be fair, he's doing exactly what I was doing to other people, so I can't really blame him too much. But he's just going to keep trying to get away from us. We only have 29 health. Then he uses the scale attack, but he does have to switch over to his sword because he ran out of ninja stars. Now, at this point, I'm going to do the exact same game he was doing to me. We're just going to be spamming our bow because this is what you get. I'm honestly very happy that we got this helmet. Even though it isn't the best protection in the world, it will help us a good amount. We can take him out for 66 right there. We still have a couple more arrows, but it is not looking amazing. That hits. He's now down to 57. Then he drinks a health potion, which isn't great. But, you know, I'm fine with using a gale. I'm going to rest up over here. Then we'll hit him with a charge. He'll hit me as well. This is a very close fight. This is really... Okay, never mind. We got it done. This is another big reset point for me, but we were able to win it and increase our magicka a little bit more. We're going to want to get our magicka up to level 10, and some more of these duels will help with that. And just like usual, we're just going for arrow strats, staying away from them, because even though we do have some armor now, it isn't the best to use our sword just yet. After we take out a few of these people, though, we do get our next level up. We can see that we now gained a new quiver and can take 10 arrows with us to battle, which is very nice. And we're also going to rest in an inn. Before then, we're going to go to the magic shop and purchase some magic spells. We're going to want to get the whirlwind magic spell and also the command magic spell. And then it's tournament time, and we're going to use our power right away. We can use command to bring them over towards us and then use a whirlwind, which goes through their armor and attacks them directly. Now, we didn't do quite enough damage to this first person since they had tons of health, but still, all we have to do is then finish him out with our bow, and we're good to go. So yeah, you can really see why whirlwind is very good. We're going to use it on this second person as well. Still doesn't do the most amount of damage, but it does get them down there. Before then, we can finish out with our bow. Not too much they can do against this strategy, and once we get a better sword, this strategy is going to get overpowered. At this point, though, I decided, you know, it's not even worth it for doing the whirlwind right away because our bow strategy works just fine. Especially with 10 arrows, it's so much nicer to have than just 5, because even if they do block some of your attacks, you're still going to hit a good amount of them, so you'll be good to go. And it is time for our next arena champion. This guy has 240 health, so that is a good amount, but we're just going to start it like normal, just doing some arrow spam. He's going to slowly move forward towards me, but I don't really mind. You do not have like any agility at all. It's kind of embarrassing, and I'm just going to let him move slowly towards me because, okay, then he hit me, so we will move backwards a tiny bit. But yeah, there's not much he can do. We can then do one of our commands into a whirlwind, take off his head, and that's an easy win. So we've made it past the big reset points of this run. See, the thing is, with our whirlwind strategy, now for pretty much all of these duels, they're going to be an insta-win, so we don't have to worry about those anymore. But in the tournament, if you lose one of those fights, your character dies, and you have to make a new one. So it would just be an auto loss, meaning we're never completely safe. And yes, I have lost a couple runs to the late game, and it really sucks. But from here on out, we're just gonna keep increasing our agility until it reaches level 60. Because once you reach level 60 agility, you can get the very best weapons in the game, so we'll just be working our way up there. Now, before our next tournament, let's go and upgrade our sword. You can see that we can get this new crystal sword, which is gonna be insane. And we'll also get a new bow. Then we can also stop by the armory and actually get some armor, which is very nice. We'll get that breastplate and a couple more things. Our guy isn't looking the best right now, but you know, I kind of like the outfit. Don't worry, our outfit will get better later. But for right now, it's not like it really matters, because with this new sword, we just completely destroy every single one of our enemies. Now, sometimes they are able to block our attacks like this guy, which isn't the best. This guy kind of has insane defense, so we're gonna go for our arrow strategy. A good thing is, since he invested so much in defense, he has absolutely no agility, which is kind of embarrassing. So he's gonna try to charge up an attack. It can't do anything, man. But in general, our main strategy is just going to be the command into whirlwind strategy, and it's almost always going to work. We very quickly make it over to our next champion and take him out immediately. It isn't even a fight when you really think about it, but that is a level up for us. And this time, I'm actually going to increase my attack a little bit, because we don't need level 60 agility right away, but by around level 21, that's where we're going to want to get it. By the way, the guide that I learned this speedrun from is by a speedrunner named Waterfina, so I'll leave their channel in the description. Also, shout out to Bubbertubber, who made a great video on casually playing Swords and Sandals, which brought me back to finally speedrun the second game. Oh, by the way, eventually after we level up some more, we will get more inventory slots, and we can get another whirlwind. By the end of the run, we're going to want to have 4 whirlwinds and 2 commands, so that's what we're going to be working towards ever so slowly, but it is a while away. For now, we're just going to buy some more of this armor since we don't really have any upgrades to our weapons we need to do just yet, and it's time for our next tournament where, like usual, it's very easy. Yeah, from here, we're probably going to skip ahead in the speedrun. So once we're on level 21, we can increase our agility to level 60, which means we can buy the very best sword in the game, along with the very best bow in the game, so we're pretty much overpowered at this point. This means whenever we do a fight with just 1 whirlwind, it's almost always an insta-win, and even if it isn't, like this person who has more than 1,000 health, we can just use 2 commands and 2 whirlwinds to take them out just as easily. But finally, an hour and 30 minutes in, we get on to the final tournament where we're facing off against the Emperor, and we pretty much have the same strategy. But these fights are going to get a lot harder than they did originally. A lot of these people have more than 1,000 health at this point, so even though we usually can beat these fights pretty easily, there is a lot more risk than before. Now, we do have the best armor to make sure we probably will be okay, but like this person, they're going to keep regenerating. So what I want to do is actually hit them with a couple charge attacks just to make sure they won't keep using those health potions. Like, this guy's very annoying. And this fight could go badly if we're not careful, but I'm going to hit them with another whirlwind right there. We're going to use a command, block that. They're still alive. They just do not want to die. But finally, Perseus is gone. I've never made it here in a speedrun and then lost the speedrun, but I have made it about a tournament or 2 away because there are a total of 18 tournaments in this game, and that really sucked. It was because I didn't have enough armor. That was probably the worst reset out of all of them, but it did mean I could come back for this speedrun and do even better with it, so I can't really complain. Until we make it onto the very last enemy, the Emperor. And this guy is kind of easier than some of the people before him sometimes. I mean, we can hit him with one of those, just hit him with a second whirlwind, and that's going to be time 1:32:45, which will give us 3rd place on the speedrun leaderboards, and I'm proud of it. Alright, subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye.